Hey, this has nothing to do with the video, but if you've ever seen this movie, The Greasy Strangler, please drop a comment and let me know your opinion on this. It has affected my life. And if you have seen the movie, please tell me what you think about this unadulterated madness. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. I am Steven and back again, and boy do we got a show today. I mean, this thing is packed front to back. I mean, I can't even explain it. It gets so crazy. If you click off, you're gonna end up being like this guy, and you do not want to be this guy. I'm telling you, it's gem after gem after gem. I don't know how I got it all into a half an hour, but either way, I'm not gonna sit around telling you about it all damn day when it's coming right up. So let's roll the footage. So this right here was recorded in the 80s. This guy was Russian, probably KGB, but listen to what he says in the 80s, then think of where we're at now as a country.
It's divided in four basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. This is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. It's done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. The next stage is destabilization. It takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation. What matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. The next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only up to 6 weeks to bring a country to the verge of crisis. And after crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, you have normalization. It may last indefinitely. This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to bring the country to crisis, to promise people all kind of goodies and the paradise on earth.
I promise you.
To destabilize your economy, to eliminate the principle of free market competition, and to put a big brother government in Washington, D.C. Your leftists, all these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of the subversion only to destabilize the nation.
It sounds to me like that plan has been in play for quite a while, because we are completely destabled in the normalization process. What's been normalized in this country is wild. And just an example I'll give that just started right in my home front, and probably yours as well. It's not horrible around here crime-wise. You know, shit happens like anywhere. But on the gas pumps, it sheets. I'm from the home of sheets. There's a sheets every fucking mile. You can't avoid a sheets if you wanted to around here. But on the gas pumps, on the screens, now they used to play you a little song, tell you about some deals. Hey, grab a, you know, whatever. Something with a Z on the end. That's what it always is, you know. Now the screen pops up when you're getting gas. It says, make sure you lock your cars, take your valuables, all this security shit on the screen, because now we've normalized that if you walk away from your car, it's probably going to get fucking broken into.
You're gonna have to Dutch shells every day, mother.
That shouldn't be considered normal. How about stop it from fucking happening? And this is coming from a 5-time felon. Like, you shouldn't just have this normal shit. Something should be stopping this. So, I mean, we've definitely normalized demoralization already. And I don't see it getting any better from here, quite frankly.
Everything they ever have told us is a lie. They tell us that our heart is a pump. Your heart is not a pump. Your heart is a valve. Your lungs is a pump that pumps the blood to the heart. The heart is a valve mechanism that controls the cardio output of blood. Everything they tell us about everything is a lie. They tell you your hair is just hair. No, our hair is non-ether hair. It is actually an extension of your nervous system. It is used to scan the environment, and it brings all of these different melanin neurotransmitters back to your skin to tell you whether to actually engage in the environment or take fight or flight and run away. That's why you get gut feelings. That's why when you see paranormal normal activities, the hair on your skin stand up. So everything that they ever told us about ourselves is a lie. That dairy is good for the bones and calcium. Literally, milk actually strips the bone of calcium. You know, they tell us don't look at the sun because it will make us go blind. Sun gazing actually stimulates your pineal gland to open up your third eye. Everything they ever have told us is a lie. They will never teach you nothing to set you free, because you being enslaved mentally is how they benefit off of you. So they will never teach you anything to make you free. So we have to take everything that they ever tell us as bullshit.
Leave your thoughts on that in the comments. I can't confirm or deny it. I don't know. Doesn't seem that crazy to me. I've definitely heard a lot of people sun gazing that get used to it over time, and they say they feel phenomenal after that. Also, I love milk. Love it. Chug milk. Love doing it. It's great. So that's a little bit of a bummer. And there's a lot of people that are into, you know, super health nutrition stuff, you know, eating super clean, all about drinking raw milk. So I don't know. Just like everybody else in the world, I don't know what to think. Kind of just move along, do what's best for you, you know? Also, I wish I could grow my hair out and not look stupid, because I think he's right about that. So the top of that says why you shouldn't send your kids to public schools. And what this guy says, I mean, he drops some heat right here. And it's kind of wild that these are the conversations we're having on a regular basis. And that KGB fella back there was saying what he said all those years ago.
No one trusts the government.
Point being, why would you trust your kids to be educated by the government?
Right. Vodi Bachman said, don't be surprised when you send your kids off to Caesar and they come back as Romans. Like, that's it, man. You're wondering why everyone's gone woke and has no idea what bathroom to use anymore. Just, if like, what happened to our kids? I'm like, well, you gave them to the government for their entire childhood. You saw them at dinner and you attended their sporting events, but the government raised your kids. And social media helped, and video games or whatever, but you saw them every day, but you didn't raise them. You didn't log enough hours each day to counteract all the poison and time wasting and ideological propagandistic crap that they were getting fed year after year after year. And so millennial generation and now Gen Z has gone woke. And we feel like, oh, what happened to my daughter? We raised him better than that. No, I mean this in love, but you didn't raise him at all. That hurts to say because I know it hurts people to hear, but the government raised him, and that's what happened.
And that's probably true for a lot of people. I would even think a little bit more the internet is raising people, and nobody knows what to think anymore because everybody's hearing something different. Everyone lives in their own bubble of whatever it may be, and you know, they get in these little cliques and they all just know this thing, and whatever it is that they know is right. And if you're in your bubble of whatever you know, you think it's right and they're wrong, and that's why everything's crazy. Like in, you know, pre-internet, everyone just knew the same shit. They knew what was on the news. They knew what sitcoms were coming on. They knew what movies were coming out. Almost the same music, you know. But now, it's just everywhere. Whatever you happen to dive up into is the thing. And it's just too many clicked off little communities trying to be a unified country, if we're even trying to do that anymore. You got what he's saying, you know, kids going to school and learning something crazy that doesn't seem to be the way reality is. If you know what I'm saying, this is what I'll tell you. 20 years ago, if you would have told me that it would have been normal, cool, or trendy to cut off your ding dong and wear dresses and lipstick, I might not have believed you. And here we are. If you so much as raise an eyebrow at the thought of that, you're a bad guy. That's little ass backwards. That's gonna set a country behind just a smidge.
Shut the fuck up in 2024.
Now you're probably gonna start thinking, why are you showing me some guy flapping his gums about a water park? But watching this, keep in mind, this is North Korea.
I work at a large coal mine an hour away from Pyongyang. I can't come often because of my work. Today we visited the great leader's mausoleum, so I stopped by here. I like to come to Pyongyang to relax. After having fun like this, work comes more easily. What are you looking at? Go play. We've never been abroad, but now we have lots of water parks, even at home in our province north of Pyongyang. We will become the best in the world, without anyone's help, just by our own hands. Any more questions? We're the best.
Oh, nice Speedos. It looks pretty nice to me. I mean, check that out. That's a hell of a nice water park. So, is it not weird? I mean, my perception of North Korea is, I'm shocked I even have running water. You know, that's how they make it sound. Now, granted, most of my ideas of North Korea come from Team America World Police.
Hans Briggs? Oh no! There you go, Hans Briggs! How you like that, you fucking cocksucker?
And then these two over here playing grab ass. I don't know a lot, but that's the perception he gives. That was a beautiful water park. The name of this page is Move to North Korea, which I'm not gonna do. It just feels like, the perception I had was, it's just barren and they're starving and Kim Jong-un's over there just making bombs and being a little goofball. I mean, I imagine it's pretty bad, but is that a propaganda piece there, or are we being lied to, is my question to you.
If you have been feeling like time has been moving very fast lately, you are not crazy. According to a recent report, Earth is now spinning faster than it used to, and clocks may even have to skip a second to keep up. Due to this strange event, for the first time ever, timekeepers and organizations are considering subtracting a second from all of their devices, which they're calling a negative leap second, just to make sure all these devices are in line with sun up and sun down, and they're planning on doing this around the year of 2029. Now, I've heard a few people talk about how they believe this may have something to do with CERN, and that's because every time they use their particle accelerator, people start reporting having strange dreams, disassociating with time, and having Mandela effects. And as you know, they're planning on smashing a particle.
I wonder if he means people literally there, or just people in the world, because I would really like to hear the accounts of people that are there, if we'd even be allowed to get them. I'm sure some whistleblower will come out someday and, well, he'll go the way of the Boeing guy and everything else, I'd imagine, or it'll be a psyop, so then there's that.
Article together on April 8th. Even during CERN's opening ceremony, you can see that they show a clock moving back and forth rapidly, which could be symbolic for whatever's making people feel strange about time currently. But this does remind me of a scripture in the Bible, specifically in Matthew, that talks about how the days will be shortened before the return of Christ for the sake of the elect. So maybe time moving faster is the beginning of our shortening of days. Now, obviously, I don't know for sure, neither about God's timing and plans for our immediate future or about whatever CERN is doing. But I do know that the spiritual war between good and evil is getting more intense daily, which is why right now is the perfect time to give your life to Christ, start loving God with all your heart, and loving your neighbor as you love yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Give your life to God and love your neighbor like you love yourself. And if you don't have any neighbors, do you have a room to rent? Because living in a city is not cool. But that aside, they can go ahead and stop the idea of taking a second off the clocks, which is absolutely insane that that's even a concept at all. But now they just came out with a report that climate change is going to make the Earth spin slower. So when they said the Earth was spinning faster, so that logo is crazy. And well, although it was always a sign of peace and, positivity throughout history, I think it's safe to say one bad apple ruined it for the whole bunch. But that aside, they initially said the reason it's spinning faster was climate change, and now it's spinning slower, I don't know about right now, spinning slower due to climate change again. So everything is due to climate change. That's what we need to know. Now, it feels like something more nefarious could be going on, but we're not going to go believe it in silly conspiracies now, are we?
How dare you? World's Fair 2025. World's Exposition 2025. World's Fair / Expo in Dubai in 2020.
How was anything in 2020?
I didn't know about that. And 2015 in Italy, the World's Expo. So here I am conspiracizing on the World's Fair, looking at all the different machines that they pretend to be buildings, and I learned that we're still hosting the World Fairs. Check out this list of World Fairs on Wikipedia. The first one is in 1791 in Prague, and there's a whole bunch in the 1800s. They were just faring away.
Faring away.
City.
Fair to say.
I mean, look at this. All like in the same year, year after year. Every single one of these locations is probably a Tartarian city or Tartarian building. Anyway, as I'm scrolling all the way down, I passed it a little bit. We are still hosting the World's Fairs. Like there's a few more coming up to 2035. Did anybody know? Still a thing?
Now, does that not feel like a Mandela effect? Because the only World's Fair I'm aware of is the Chicago World's Fair that was, what, was it 1918? I might be a little bit off on that, 1908. Either way, this Chicago World's Fair, where they apparently built in, I don't know, super fast, 2 months or something like that, and then tore it all down, but it looked magnificent. And that's where these Tartarian people, these folks that believe all this, you know, that there was a world here before and it was magnificent, and they took all the history away to make us think we're dumb.
Well, give Mom.
When did all these World's Fairs happen? Because that lends a little bit of credence to the Tartarian thing. If they were building all this, where are they at now? I had no idea. I had no idea about another World's Fair. Not even one. And in 2020, I guess if it was in January, but in Dubai, I mean, things were creeping out of China. And in 2019, if you've ever been to a World's Fair, please drop a comment and let me know where you were and how it was. But my mind is blown by the idea that there was any World's Fairs, not only other World's Fairs, upcoming World's Fairs. So I'll forewarn you, this guy's kind of boring and a little bit monotone, and he kind of sounds like a science teacher or something, but it hinges on that World's Fair thing and the Tartaria thing. These photos keep popping up, old photos, and it appears the backgrounds are cut out of everything. If it's authentic, I don't know. The reasoning behind it, I don't know, but I just keep seeing it, so just check this out.
This is a phrase I coined when examining old photos in 2018 when I began looking at photos myself with respect to mystery history and investigation in the videos that I did on my YouTube channel called UAP after seeing Martin leak his work on his channel. Now these skies that I called vanilla skies, I also called Miller skies. I had noticed first that the painted on flags were atop the buildings in an obviously manipulated, hand-animated or painted depiction on a photograph. Now, these are photographs that are presented as being historic.
Just like NASA, right? Hey, this is a real photo of Earth. Look at that. And then you find out it's CGI.
And in many cases, they're showing the old world as we are discovering on this channel. I began to see such anomalies as these, and furthermore, unnaturally cropped edges, and began to realize it wasn't just overexposures of light, but purposeful film exposures or masking during darkroom development, perhaps, and other types of manipulations. Now, this can be acceptable, and there can be good reasons for this, but when we're talking about supposedly historical depictions, it makes one wonder.
So, I don't know, just like the guy said, I don't know what to make of that, but I just think it's weird. Why would that be a thing and present it as, hey, this is an old photo, and it looks like a painting, but also being cropped out. I have no idea. Leave your thoughts in the comments because I'm a little clueless on it. I just found it interesting, and it's not the only one like that. There's a lot out there like that, so I don't know. You tell me. Prepare to have your mind blown.
In medieval Europe, not only were the streets filled with human waste, but their culinary habits were equally bizarre. At a feast from that era, you might have found mummies on the table alongside steak and bread covered in bird droppings, as well as pastries crawling with maggots. The scarcity of mummies today can be traced back to Europeans consuming them entirely. Medieval medical texts claimed mummies.
Okay, real quick, you think that would have been taught somewhere along the line, like it was commonplace for mummies to be on the dinner table?
Mummies could cure a range of ailments from tumors and gout to the plague and even syphilis. Mummies were fried into steaks, ground into powder, used as seasoning for bread and wine, and even made into paint, mummy brown, leaving their mark on numerous famous paintings. Europeans dined on mummies from the 12th to the 20th century, spurred by a misunderstanding related to the medicinal pitch, leading to a craze for eating mummies that lasted until they began making mummies out of Europeans themselves. Not stopping at consuming human remains, medieval Europeans also ate maggots. Italian bakers would leave bread outside to attract flies to lay eggs. When the eggs hatched into maggots, the bread would ferment, making a protein-rich meal. Nobles, always seeking to distinguish their dining habits, invented elaborate meals like hollowing out baked bread and stuffing it with live birds, creating a spectacle as birds flew out when the bread was cut open, leaving behind.
I don't think we're going to have to worry about anybody culturally appropriating the European piñata.
Nothing but a bread shell potentially filled with bird droppings. As time progressed, Europe gradually moved away from these dark culinary practices.
Oh, did they?
Modern dishes like Starry Night may pay homage to the inventive spirit of medieval cuisine, albeit in a far more palatable manner.
I've always wondered what they teach in other countries in schools. Like here in the US, where I'm at, you don't really hear a whole lot about Europe, except for, the revolution. So, you know what we're taught, things about America. Do they teach that in European schools? Like, hey, yeah, by the way, the medieval cats, they were eating mummies and ordered up some bird shit bread stuffed with maggots and bird. Like, I never caught wind of that. You think somewhere along the line, someone would have been like, hey, they used to eat mummies in medieval times. I've never seen a mummy or bird shit bread or maggot bread on the table. It's big old hams and big old turkey legs and shit, eating like Vikings. Caught that part. Sounds fun, actually. But mummies? Bird shit bread? Maggot filled bread? You might want to whip out your notes for this one, because this guy gets pretty deep. I know I am, because I need to learn everything he says and find out if it's true. And if it is, we're all going to be better off.
Man on the land, in case you don't know what it is, a free man on the land is a human being in a common law jurisdiction who has revoked consent to be represented and thus governed, and therefore is not subject to any statutory obligations, restraints, bylaws, orders, anything like that. What you call a law has nothing to do with me. And this has been proven to me a number of times. The last time I got stopped by a cop, 11:30 at night, I'm at a bus station. I'm at a bus stop. I got 12 beer beside me. I'm going over to my friend's place. I crack a beer. A cop goes by. I went, oh, this is going to be fun. He pulls right up. He gets right out. And you know how they get out. They're all angry. Hey, what are you doing? You're drinking in public. That's against the law. I could arrest you under the Liquor Licensing Act, the Liquor Control Act, and I could confiscate your beer. The first thing I do, God's peace to you, good officer. If you're going to arrest me, I want you to know I'm a peaceful man and there will be no violence necessary. But I'm pretty sure you don't have the legal right to do any of that. So I immediately bring him down. He gets to a point where there's no more anger there. You can talk to them if there's no more anger there. So he starts asking me, well, what's your name? And actually he said, I could confiscate your beer. I said, you're going to remove my beer without clear lawful authority? because that's the definition of confiscate. So at that point, you start using some of these words, and you know the definition of them. He's going to step back a little bit. He's looking for the weak. He's looking for the people who have no idea what these words mean. He asked me for my name. I said, well, I'd love to help you, but I don't know if you're operating legally or lawfully. I don't know if you want my legal name or a lawful name. He goes, well, I'm acting legally. I want your legal name. I said, do you have proof of claim? I have an obligation to have such a thing? Okay, fine. I'm acting lawfully. Fine. My name's Rob. What's your last name? Why do you need that if you're acting lawfully? I don't even have a last name. I have a family name. Okay, well, what's your family name? So finally, he seemed like a decent guy. We were talking a little bit. He used to do masonry. I told him I was a mason. So I gave him the information. He punches it in his computer. He's there. I'm sitting over here. He punches my name in the computer, looks at it, squints. I smile and wave. He looks at it, gets on the horn. He's on that horn for a good 5 minutes. Comes out, puts down the horn. He's like, comes out. You know what he says to me? Mr. Menard, the West Vancouver Police Department would be deeply appreciative if you would refrain from drinking alcohol in public. Couldn't get away fast enough. They punch my name in that computer. It comes up, free man on the land, no statutory charges without the express written consent of the Attorney General. They don't want anything to do with me. This is the power that you can have over these people. This is what, it doesn't mean there is no law. It doesn't mean that I can go out and I can harm. It doesn't mean I can damage property. It doesn't mean I can use fraud in my contract. It just means that they can't use...
I hate that video cuts off right there, but if he's telling the truth about that, that is absolutely wild. And I've heard loopholes in the system where you can get into that. I'd say it's worth looking into. Either that or he's totally full of shit. But if he's telling the truth, learning that, and also how to astral project and become a Jedi like men who stare at goats in the gateway process, boom, you'd be ship shape. Free citizen, non-citizen, and you can astral project. And that's about how I felt after all those videos, and that's going to be a good place to wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Listen, I'm working on this Tupac video. It is going to be mind-blowing, and it's not about his death. That's usually what the conspiracy is about. It's about his life. I uncovered some stuff. I mean, it's absolutely mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. If you're new here, go back and watch some of these older videos. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So, on that note, if you never sub, go ahead and please sub to the channel down there. Go ahead and hit like on that video if you don't mind. I know it's a pain in the ass, but I'd appreciate it. And if you didn't like the video, go ahead and keep it moving, bro, because I don't want no beef with you. That's all, folks.